Yes.
Okay. So we have completed last topic about weather and meteorology. So now we are going to see drone equipment maintenance. Okay, this is again an important topic from a perspective of a pilot. So whenever you are flying a drone, you have to take care of your drone. Like when you're driving a car, you're going for a long drive or long distance driving, what you do normally check the car. Like we will check whether my tires are proper, whether there is a proper air in the tires. I will check the water in the radiator. All those basic things, whatever we check, normally we check whether normally even one day prior going to for a long distance travel, what I would do is I will start my car, maybe take a small round also just to check whether everything is functioning normal and proper or not. Okay, like my battery is being charged, there is no problem with the battery, whether with the oil or with the brakes or with the car tires and all that pressure. So if required, I will fill the uh, what is that called air in the tires. All that things I will check and confirm and keep it ready. So similarly, when I'm flying a drone, I need to do a maintenance. There is one is a regular, comprehensive maintenance after certain flights, and there is what is regularly you need to do whenever you are flying the drone. So there is something called as a pre-checks. Okay, so you do pre-checks even after you land your drone. You are supposed to do a post-check also, and during the flight also you need to check certain parameters on your drone performance. Okay, so there are something called pre-checks, in-flight checks, and then there is something called as post-flight checks. And regularly all these flights, after certain period of time, you have to do something called as a comprehensive checks, okay, of your drone or maintenance of your drone. So let's see now what are the things considered into the drone equipment maintenance. Okay, so the regular usage may result in wear and tear of UAE, thus require regular maintenance check. The comprehensive maintenance has to be performed after every 200 flights. So every time you fly your drone, every 200 times it has taken off and take landing, after that you have to do a comprehensive maintenance check. Again, this number is a very generic number I have put up over here. You always need to refer what is your OEM saying about it, because some OEMs may say that okay, every 100 flight you have to do it, or every 50 flight hours you should do the comprehensive maintenance check. Okay, whereas pre-flight and post-flight checks are required to be done per flight. Every time you are flying your drone, you need to do a pre-flight. Every time you land your drone, you need to do a post-flight checks. Maintenance checklists and manuals with the standard operating procedures needs to be followed. These are available with the OEMs. Okay, so you have to request the OEM to provide you the maintenance checklist or manuals with standard operating procedures. Means, for example, if you want to do some changes, you want to change a propeller, you want to change a motor, or any component you want to do. First of all, whether you are authorized to do that activity, you have been trained for that doing activity or not. If you are not trained, then you should not do it, because your drone initially may be under the warranty, it could be under the AMC. In that scenario, you should not do all those changes. You should always refer back to your OEMs, asking them that whatever is required, whether they advise to do it on your own or they may send the engineer to do it. Okay. So like last time I was facing some problem on my one of my drones. So I logged a case with the OEM. So next day the engineer came on site, he came, he checked, he did everything. He was suspecting there was a misalignment of the motor. Okay, so he checked with the level. So I have a level over there also. So they checked the level of the motor with respect to the frame, but found okay. Then we took the drone outside and then we flew the drone just to check and make sure that everything is flying properly. So we did that, and then it was certified that okay, it is good for flying. After that only I have given that drone for flying to my students. Okay, prior to that I have not advised my students to fly that particular drone. So one session we were only flying one single drone at that point in time. Okay, the second drone was not used because it was having some issues. So I had called the engineer for doing the maintenance check about it. So every time you fly the drone, every time you bring the drone out of your store, you are in the ground. First thing you need to do is pre-flight check, and every time you land, you should always do a post-flight checks also. Okay. So now let's see what are the pre-flights and post-flight checks. So drone maintenance checklist, first thing what we need to do is structural inspection we need to do. Clean airframe of a mud or dirt. Inspect airframe for cracks. Check for any loose screws. Check propeller for any damages. Check propeller for free spinning. Check motor for debris and obstruction. Since motor, if you see the motor component, it is an open motor. Okay, you can see the coils inside. Okay, so there is a possibility because of the propeller moving at a fast direction, the fine dust may go inside the motor. Okay, the over the period of time, you need to clean the motors also by pushing a high pressure air inside it. Okay, so check the status of wiring, solder joints, check gimbal, camera lens is clean, check landing gear condition, check antennas, check control station for any faulty components. Lot of time, even since this is all open air or in open, we are using all these equipments, right? Lot of these places you will have a wind, you will have lot of dust, this and that like. Okay, so in that scenario, possibility that over the period of usage, your drone might start giving some problems. So you need to maintain your drone properly. You need to take care of the drone physically. Okay, that is what it is. Structural inspections. Okay, clean the airframe of mud and dirt. So you may have a small brush. You just to clean near the joints or near the landing gear or wherever there is a propeller is there, motor is there in that location. Lot of dust get accumulated over there over the period. Again, because of the moisture. Like if I'm flying a drone in uh, agriculture land. Okay, so a lot of time the spraying is happening. So there is a lot of moisture is there in which the drone is flying. So a lot of time dust and moisture get together and they form a thick layer near the propellers, near the motors, all that location. So we need to regularly wipe clean them up. Okay, so every time I fly after let's say 8 to 10 acres of land, if I'm flying the drone, I will make sure that I spend a good amount of time cleaning the drone properly. Each and every place, every propeller, I will make sure it will be wiped using a fiber cloth. Okay, I would be using what is we call that pump. There is a pump which blows the air. Okay, air blower. Okay, so I will be using air blower also. Air blower is also available, so I will be using that air blower to make sure that there is no fine dust get accumulated within the propellers, joints, or within the motor, or even in the body and all that location. So I will try to make it clean. So every 8 to 10 acres of land I have done the spraying. I had made policy that we will do a uh, uh, cleaning of the drone thoroughly. Okay, so that's how your drone will give you a better performance and go for a longer period without any giving any issue. Okay, after checking the structural inspection, next thing what you need to check is the battery check. Inspect the charger for any visible damage. Inspect the battery packs for bulges or leakages. Charge all batteries. So whenever you are going for a flying, make sure don't use half charge batteries. Okay, if your charge is like 80% and 90%, don't use those kind of battery. Charge them fully and then only you should use it. Okay, so every time we are flying a drone for our training purpose, we are making sure our drones are being charged for 100% power. Yes, Gautam.
When you spray this pesticide or fertilizer, does the chemicals get into the motor also, or they are all blown downwards?
So they are blown downwards, but again, this is everywhere in the air, right? And it is flying for let's say 10, 20 minutes in that environment. So there is possibility that it will become wet because it will absorb, like it is a heat, right? Motor as it is spinning, it will be hot, whereas the cold air is flowing downward. So there is a possibility of this hot and cold getting mixed, and it can impact your motor performance also.
So these chemicals are corrosive. Some of them must be quite corrosive also.
Not really, not corrosive or kind of thing. Because see, the motors, what they are prepared, they are a very high grade material. Okay, they are made of aluminum and they have a coating on it. So normally these chemicals will not affect on this. Even the coils, what are being made, they are a very high grade wires. Okay, and they have been coated. So normally these chemicals will not have any direct immediate impact on these materials of motor or propellers or even body. The body of a drone is made of a carbon fiber, so it will not have that much impact on it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So inspect your batteries. If you find any bulge or leakages, you should immediately discard those batteries. Okay, you should use always a good quality batteries and make sure that you charge all batteries and then only you proceed for your operational activity. Okay. In case of software, firmware, like in type certified drone, it is recommended by DGCA not to upgrade software or firmware until unless they get any go ahead from the OEM or from the DGCA. Okay. Till that you don't need to upgrade your drone firmware or software. Then last is make sure that whatever drone maintenance you do, you keep a track. So every time, like every 10 to 12 hours, 12 acres of land this thing, I will just make a small sheet is there where I will say whether my everything is checked, clean, tick, tick, tick. Normally how you aeroplane pilots does everything they check and they, in their notepad, they just make a tick. So they have a ready-made checklist. So they don't miss out any point, going unnoticed. Okay, so now over the time, drone can gather layers of dirt from rigor of flight, transport, and storage. Like my drone, there is a drone which is of 2022. It was lying at the Dhule location. Okay, so when I joined BFC, nobody was aware of that drone. I got that drone brought. I mean, I was sent some photos that there is a box and all that thing. So I asked the local person to check, and he sent me the photographs, and then I understood that it is a drone. So I asked team to bring that drone from Dhule to Igatpuri location. So when we brought it was brought to the Igatpuri location, we saw that though it was lying in the container for almost a year, that drone was completely with the dust. Okay, so we got it out from the container. Then we saw even the propellers were all got damaged. All were damaged. Were just lying over there for over a period of time. Okay, they got damaged because it's a plastic. Over the period of time, plastic will also become fragile. Okay, brittle. It will start brittling, so it will start breaking. I will show you those propellers when we go to the stores. Okay, so I have to remove all the 6 propellers from that drone. I have ordered new propellers and fitted the new propellers for the drone. Okay, that's how I completely done the maintenance of that drone. Even the screws and everything was checked. Okay, before the first flight, what we do. Okay, so we configured that drone for that particular location. We did all the settings and whatever is required with the help of OEM. So we have actually called OEM to do this for us because this is supposed to be done by the OEM. Okay, it is their job to do it and make sure that they certify the drone is been good for flying or good for flight. So battery pack has to be disconnected. Drone needs to be powered. Use air duster in combination with microfiber cloth. Remove most of the dirt and buildup. Care has to be taken while dealing with the sensitive electronic components. Like a lot of time we touch the flight controller, GPS module. So in that case, you should always use anti-static wristband so that your static electricity is not getting transferred by accidentally touching these sensitive equipments. Okay, so you should always use care while dealing with the sensitive electronic items or components. So tools required for cleaning like anti-static cloth, small cleaning brush, compressed air canisters, anti-static wristband, and isopropyl alcohol. A lot of time, as I said, this fine dust gets inside the drone motor. Okay, so how do you remove? So what is that? You have to dismantle the motor from the drone. You have to pour the isopropyl alcohol in the container, and you have to dip the motor for at least 24 hours. After 24 hours, the dust will get dissolved and it will come out. Then you may have to keep another 6 hours for your motor to become a dry, and then you can wipe it clean, and then you can fit back to the drone. Okay, for your operational activities. Okay, so carefully inspect the airframe for damage. You should regularly perform checks on the regular basis, ensure all parts are serviced accordingly. Even the smallest crack can cause critical problem if left unnoticed. So you should not ignore even the smallest crack on the drone. If there is a crack, you should immediately change that component. Okay, so during routine maintenance, check each component extremely carefully and make note of damage you find. So a lot of time you would have seen aeroplane when it flies, like the aeroplane is flying from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. So moment it lands at Ahmedabad, the duty of pilot doesn't over there. Okay, so normally you might have seen that you might be getting down from the aeroplane, catching the bus and going to the baggage location and all the things. But behind the pilot will come down, he will physically check. That is his post check. Okay, there is a separate maintenance engineer is there who will be doing his check also. So post check is done by the maintenance engineer. Assume that that flight is going to again fly back in another half an hour or maybe a 1 hour's time. So there will be engineer. There will be two different engineers. There will be engineer who will be doing post check. There will be engineer who will be doing pre-check also. So there is an engineer before the flight. He will check the necessary component. He will be having his own checklist. He will be checking all that things, and that checklist will be given to the pilot to showcase. So pilot will verify the checklist, and then pilot will also do his own check. Okay, he will be also doing some structural checks prior flying because he is going to fly that aeroplane. So he will check the external something. You might have seen a lot of time pilots moving around the aircraft, or they may be talking to the engineer also, right? The aircraft engineer also. If there is any concern or anything, worry part. If there is nothing, then pilot will enter the aeroplane and then go inside the cockpit, and then they will have their the routine checklist within the cockpit also. Cockpit also. Okay. So structural inspection, check for loose screws. Ensure every component is tightly secured tightly in place during the maintenance or repair. It is likely that some components will need to be removed and replaced. So in case of you are removing and putting back a new components, make sure that whatever components you have changed, they are being put properly as it is supposed to be. Double check the fastening and the bolts. Don't over tighten. A lot of people have a tendency to tighten the screw more, harder, and the thing, and that's why they damages the grooves, or they damages the threads, or they damages the device also. It's a lot of time because of the over tightening of nut bolts and everything. Even the structure gets damaged out of it. So you have to make sure that you don't over tighten them. Okay, so this can lead to excessive strain on joints or do even more damage. So you have to careful. You should apply only that much pressure what is required. You can see here in the picture, like, over tightening of the screw has led a crack in the body, right? Propellers are the most used component in the drone, so you need to make sure that every time you before you fly, you check the propellers. So see, you can have a dirty propeller, chipped propeller, cracked propellers. So propeller damage can go unnoticed until it proves critical. Inspection for cracks. If you find any cracks, you should always change the propellers. Proper fitting of props to motors. Lot of time people change the propeller. Okay, if your motor is counterclockwise and you remove that counterclockwise propeller and you replace with clockwise propeller, it is a wrong combination. Okay, so a lot of people do this kind of mistake also. They don't know, they don't see type of propellers and type of motor, and they just simply change the propeller. So sometimes this mistake can happen. Okay, so you have to make sure that proper fitting of prop to motor. Okay, so if you have a clockwise prop motor, you should put clockwise propeller only. If you have a counterclockwise, you should always put counterclockwise propeller. Double check the type of prop while replacing. The clockwise prop has to be replaced with counterclockwise only. Sorry, clockwise propeller only. Check the smooth spinning. So every time you connect, you put everything, you just tap. Okay, you just move the propeller by your hand. Okay, so this is exercise you need to do every time before you fly the drone also. So you are checking whether your propellers are moving smoothly or not. Okay, this is a must check every time you fly your drone. Okay, check any exposed wiring or any wire wear outs, open the chassis and inspect the internal wiring, solder any loose connection, make sure you are complying with the unit manual before performing any repair. So if you are doing any repair of your drone, make sure you follow the instruction manual. Okay. If you are not knowing how to do it and all things, so I would advise not to do it. You will probably call a service person or a technician or the known person who is aware of doing all these kind of activities. Okay, so a lot of time the battery connectors get disconnected because of joint getting worn out or becoming dry. Yeah, Priyam.
Do these service personnel actually visit your address or do you have to go somewhere?
No, no, they will visit at my place. I have taken AMC for 1 year. So every time it is a
Okay,
mandatory for us to take insurance as well as AMC.
right. What is like the annual cost of all of it?
For my insurance, it is 11,000 rupees per drone,
Okay,
and my maintenance AMC is somewhere around 30,000 rupees. So in which they
okay.
have a visits also, 6 visits and all that things are there covered into it
Throughout the year.
throughout the year,
Okay, so that is for 1 year.
1 year. So every year I have to renew it.
Okay,
Okay, so since one of my drone is old drone, so there I have a AMC. whereas there is another drone which is a new drone, so it is currently in warranty, so it is considered under warranty as of now. Next year I may have to take a AMC of
Right, right. Okay.
it. So as I said, if the motor over the period of time you're flying in the agriculture or this thing, lot of time the dust get accumulated within this space. See, you can see here, these are the magnets on the outer structure or outer wheel. Whereas you can see this is the coils. Okay, these are coils. What is that? Enameled wire coils are there. Okay, so this is called as armatures or stator. Okay, so this is a fixed stator. In your DC motor, this is moving, whereas this is fixed. Whereas in BLDC motor, your armature is constant or it is not moving. Your your magnetic structure is moving. Okay, so magnet is changed because there is a change in the voltage or flux over here in the coils, which will push the magnet further, 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 and further. So that's why if you see these high-end motors, they are always oriented. Okay, because the positioning of the positioning of the magnets in this motor are been aligned in a such a way for a particular directions. Okay, so that's why they will have always a direction, counterclockwise or clockwise. So if the motor is of clockwise, you have to make sure that you are putting it at a clockwise location only, not vice versa. So wherever it is a clockwise, you have to put a clockwise. Wherever it is anti-clockwise, it has to be anti-clockwise motor. Once you put anti-clockwise motor, you have to fit anti-clockwise or counterclockwise propeller over there. Okay, you can't change that position. So if you see, if you have a quadcopter, okay, if you have a quadcopter, if you are like this, okay, the front side of the quadcopter, your the left hand side propeller or the motor will be always clockwise, whereas your right side of your propeller or a motor will be always counterclockwise. Okay, so this I will show you practically when we see the drones on the ground in the store also. You know, in the store only we will actually see this, and every time you will verify. I will ask you most of the time, show me which is what and all other things. So you whenever you have been explained about this, please pay attention to that, and you should know this thoroughly. Okay, every time you see the drone, you try to see these things properly or not. You can figure it out. A lot of people do mistakes about connecting the wrong motor at the wrong location, and then don't understand that why they are getting not proper performance. A lot of people do vice versa. Okay, ideally, as I said, your left side should be always clockwise, and your right side should be always anti-clockwise motors. Okay, so sometimes they people swap because they think that it is only opposite direction. Because if you are having a clockwise on your left side, your right side motor behind motor will be also clockwise. Okay, so that is what we need to see. So these things, when I show you practically, quadcopter and the hexacopter, you will see the difference. So there will be always vice versa, so clockwise counterclockwise, clockwise counterclockwise, clockwise counterclockwise, like this 6 will be there, or 4 will be also in the same pattern, clockwise counterclockwise, clockwise counterclockwise. Okay, structural inspection also make sure that your camera gimbal, your landing gear, all those are big things. If there is a structural landing gear is about like spring loaded or hydraulic loaded, make sure that they are being intact. They are performing their functions properly. Even some landing gear will have the rubber, what we call rubber shock absorbers to it. Okay, so directly the metal part is not touching the ground, so there is a rubber coating is there, or rubber sheets are there around it. So if sometimes over the period of usage those rubber will get worn out. Okay, so you have to remove. When you're removing, don't change only one rubber. You have to change all four. Okay, if either it has to be replaced all four, or you should change all four. I mean, don't change only one or two like that. You change all the four. Now, ideally, the OEM will always sell you in a set of four only. Okay, they will not sell you one or two or something like that. Or even you get four, don't do that कि you change one and you put all only one. Okay, बाकी का तीन store में रख दिया, ऐसा नहीं करना है, because all other remaining threes are also worn out. So there will be a difference in the height. Okay, minor difference would be there, which could cause a major problem during the landing or during the takeoff also. Okay, so when you are changing the rubber pads or whatever the things are there on the landing gear, make sure even the landing gear, if you have a separate legs to your landing gear, make sure that you whenever you are changing, you change all the four. In case of only one damage, if one is broken or something, That point in time you can change only one. But over the routine maintenance, over the period of, like, let's say 100 landings you have done or 200 landings you have done, that point in time you are changing your landing gears, you change all the four. Clear? Okay, so again, structural inspection, make sure the antenna, a lot of time people do not open the antenna properly. They have, like, they will keep it facing it downwards or something. So you always have to point antenna towards your drone. Okay, so should be always in a front direction. Okay, hold the antenna at the root while mounting, fold the antenna when not used in transporting, replace the antenna if found unfit. Lot of time there is a breakage in the joints. Okay, so if there is a breakage in the joint, lot of people continue doing it, but then they will see that they are facing loss of communication between the drone and the remote. So in case you find that kind of happening, so you should immediately replace your antenna. Okay, same goes for your ground control station also, remote control chassis, remote control antennas, extended range transmit. Like, a lot of time from the ground station, there is external cable going and there is a tripod where the antenna has been attached. So you should make sure that they are been connected properly and then they are in good conditions. Okay, so you all verify for any structural inspections. Battery inspection we spoke about. Check the docking station charger for each battery pack. The component can often go for years. That means whenever you have a battery pack, or there is a charging station, nothing happens to that over the period. Like, over the 1 year, 2 years, nothing will happen. But all of a sudden, because of the over of the period, lot of time the connectors, especially the connectors where the battery and the charging station is getting connected, those points normally get oxidized over the period of time. So you need to get them clean by using isopropyl alcohol. Okay, you have to clean them, wipe them clean. Inspect the charger for any visible damage, as well as visual check. You should ensure voltage specified by the dock is compliant with the battery pack. So whenever we are charging the drone, we are checking the voltages of our battery, whether the charger is giving the right information about the battery or not. If it is doing some problem, you may have to see whether the battery is getting connected properly or not. Or maybe battery might be faulty also. So in that scenario, if it is containing giving a wrong information, you may have to use the external voltage checker. So we'll have a separate checker also. Through that also we'll check and verify. If that is also showing the same result, that means your battery has gone faulty. Or you can use the same battery on a different charger also and check whether it is giving the same results or not. In that way, you can understand whether your charger is giving wrong information or your battery is faulty, and you have to arrive to a conclusion accordingly whether the charger is required to be replaced or whether the battery has to be replaced. You have to take a decision. So if anything, what is faulty, the battery is faulty, you replace the battery. If the charger is faulty, you replace the charger. Because a lot of time, even the bad charger will give you a wrong inputs. Right? Because a lot of time it will show you that it has charged the battery. But when you connect that battery to the drone, you understand that it is only showing 50%. So in that scenario, the battery is not getting fully charged, but the charger is giving you wrong information. Okay, so it is not able to read the inputs from the battery properly. So you need to come to a conclusion whether your charger is faulty or a battery is faulty by using permutation combination of charger and batteries. Okay, so whatever is faulty, replace them. Don't try to do any jugaad over there or something like that. How we normally do, na? In mobile phones, lot of time we use iska uska charger. Yeah, you normally. So I have a tendency. I normally don't use anybody else charger for my mobiles. The last whatever 20 years I'm using my mobiles. Whatever the mobiles I have used, I have never given my charger to anybody. Neither I have used anybody else charger on my mobile phones. Okay, so this will give you a longer run. Your connectors will not go faulty. Your battery will have proper. Even in my charging cycle also, I will always follow that I will use my battery up to 10%. Then only I will charge my mobile. Okay, I will not, like, lot of people say अभी 50% हुआ तो और एक charge करेंगे. The moment you are even 90-80%, lot of people again charge more. Like, even while sleeping in the night also, if I see that my mobile is showing 20%, I will not jump to the charging because I know that 20% can suffice me till the morning. So I keep it like that. In the morning when I wake up, most of the time I charge in the during daytime. I don't charge when I'm sleeping or not available, because a lot of time these batteries are vulnerable to getting fired, right? Lot of time. So to avoid those things, we'll never charge our batteries in night time. We'll normally always charge when it is we are available. We can see, can monitor them. That is the point time we should charge. Yes, Nishant.
Sir, so even if the cord is genuine and compatible, then also how can it be detrimental to the battery using someone else's charger? You said. you don't prefer?
So the charge with the why I'm saying is lot of time what happens, if you're using any see that the connector what goes so lot of time because of different I mean they may be same see when we are using our own collect if you see the connector of iPhone is a different but if you see the micro USB charger it was like having a pin right so lot of time you have faced that like you don't face this problem in iPhone chargers but you will face in micro USB so that's why they have replaced from micro USB to now C type chargers now C type charger doesn't have much problems. Okay, but the older chargers like micro USB or prior to chargers were there. They were even Nokia also. The pin chargers was there. So they were used to give a lot of time problem. The pin used to get pressed inside a lot of time. You are using and all the things. So a lot of time people have faced problems. So to avoid as much as possible damage happening to your charger or your battery, try to use the same equipment, same devices for that purpose. In case of needy or this thing is a different case, but try to avoid as much as possible. You should set up one unit for you. So you will see when we are set up our drone store for charging the battery, we have a two separate chargers for two different batteries. We are not using the though we can use the same charger, but we have kept it separately purposely. Okay, so that the charger which is used for the A5 drone, it will use that charger only. For A6 drone, there is a separate charger. So whatever the charger has come with the drones, those chargers are only being used by us. Okay, because that is a lithium. Because A5 is using lithium polymer batteries, whereas A6 drone is using lithium ion batteries. Okay, so I'm again not mixing. So when I'm setting a charger, also you need to like drone chargers. These chargers are very enterprise level chargers. They are not just like you connect battery and charge. Here you need to set your charger into master slave mode, balance mode. You can set that ampere rating on it. All those parameters you need to set, and then you have to say charge or you have to say start. Then only your battery will start. In between, in sudden, all of the power goes, so your charging will stop. Your power comes back again, but your charging will not start until unless you press that button for charging again. Okay, so that is a safety protection given it. So you can't overcharge also your battery. When your charging get overs, it will display on it and it will stop charging your battery also. Okay, so it will not charge beyond 100%. आपका battery 100% हुआ तो भी वो push कर रहा है. So that is basically degrade your battery like what we do in normal our phones. Like you will never see our phone like अभी मेरा 100% हुआ तो अभी मेरे को निकालना है. Lot of people just keep the charger attached to it. 100 के ऊपर वो continuous charge हो ही रहा है. So that is actually degrading your battery. The moment you complete your charging, you should disconnect. So in these chargers, drone chargers, there is a facility where it says finished. So it will automatically stop charging. It is in a finish mode. Okay, you can just disconnect the battery. That's it. Even you are connected doesn't matter because it is not actually charging the battery because it is stop charging feature. That the feature is there. Okay, so these are called as smart chargers. Okay, so inspect the battery packs for bulges and leakage. This I have already told. So if you have seen, like normally for a drone flying, like if you see here in this image, there are 3 drone batteries, right? So normally you should always label them as the batteries like B1, B2, B3 or 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C. No, you should label that. You should know which battery is going where and when you are using it. So if you are using like A, B and C, so you should first use A. Then once this has been discharged, then use B. Then once B is discharged, use C. Okay, so you charge also same ways and use it again the same way. Okay. ABC, 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 ABC. So your cycle of battery should also remain the same. Okay, this is very important for longer life and proper charging and proper life cycle of your battery. Okay, so in case out of these 3 battery, 1 battery faults, so you should know when this. So normally some people write date also when it started using it. Okay, so they will put by marker a date on it. Like आपने नाम, you are replacing battery number 2 or battery B. So you are replacing again with a new battery with that. But that battery, earlier battery had already used 100 cycles of charging, whereas the new battery is the first time you are charging it. Okay, so that cycle of that battery will start from 1, whereas other batteries cycle will continue 100, 101, 102, 103. So you need to maintain. So when we are doing a drone flying, we need to maintain a battery log also for it. Okay, so I will explaining you that battery log during the practical sessions, how to maintain and what needs to be captured inside your battery logs. Okay, so your start time of your battery charging, your end time of your battery charging, what was your voltage before the charging, what was your voltage after the charging. All that you need to keep a track, okay, as a responsible drone pilot. Because here we are talking about only 3 batteries. When you are going for agriculture flying, you will be carrying 10 set of batteries. That means you will be having 20 batteries with you. Think how chaotic it would be there to manage 20 batteries. Okay, 20 batteries, charging, discharging, usage, all that needs to be tracked. Okay, so it is a very complex job when you have become a drone pilot and you are flying for such kind of. And then assume that you have 70 pilots who are flying your drone. So you are tracked to 70 pilots, their usage, their battery. They have to carry generator also with them because they're in the field. You will not have a power. So how you charge your battery? So you will be carrying DG also along with you. All that things will be there with those pilots. Okay, so it's very complex when you go for agriculture spraying or even for like power line transmission, because those are will always in a remote locations. Those are very difficult location, difficult area. You will not get a lot of equipments over there, spaces also. So you have to carry your toolkit, toolbox, all that things you need to be there. So on field you should able to repair your drone in case your drone got bad. So you need to carry your spares also. You need to carry propellers, all that things you need to carry, even the soldering iron. A lot of people carry all those things also. So कभी कभी वो over the period like एक महीना आप कोई district में आप काम कर रहे हो, so you will not come back from that location, right? For 1 month you are doing the activity over there. You need to make sure that you are carrying all the equipments with you. You know what is the basic toolkit is required for the drone. So I'm just giving you an example. Okay, you may not be doing that, but just from a perspective of agriculture drone pilot, I'm saying to you. Okay. Again, software, firmware, if it is allowed, then only you have to upgrade and update, or else in a type certified drone, you are not required to update your software or firmwares. Okay. Again, for the same thing for the ground station also, this is also not applicable for type certified drone because DGCA is not allowing you to update their softwares. Yes, Nishan.
Sir, as we all know that DJI is one of the very famous brands into this. Isn't there any Indian brand, a desi local brand, which is at par on manufacturing drones?
Not at the class of DJI as of now, but there are some good companies or OEMs are there who are made what we call type certified drones. Like DJI are more or less they are making small drones, okay, or even the agriculture drones, even the drones what we are flying like agri-bird drones. They are also good drones similar to DJI only, but still DJI is DJI. DJI is like iPhone. Okay, and whatever the drones we are making, they are maybe at like Xiaomi or the other phones what we see normal compared to iPhone. So that way the drones are, they are still not at the level of iPhone. Okay, so their cost may be like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 max, but whereas iPhone is 50 to 70,000 above only. Okay, so like that, so that difference is there. So similarly DJI is like your iPhone and the rest of all drones are like this. Similar to DJI, there are drones available outside. Like there is a Parrot drone available is there, Hotel drone is there. There are international. Some companies are there, but not so popular in a civilian or commercial space. Okay, there are drones made by very big companies for especially for defense and all that thing. There is a different company, but for a local people or civilian, we still, as per the DJI, we do not see any other drone company coming near to it. So DJI spends a lot of money on research, and they've been started their journey in since 2014, okay, or 2011, I say. Okay, so initially that the owner of the DJI was actually studying and he was struggling, and then by 2000, I think 13 or 14, they launched their first drones, and then I think 2014 they released 2014 or 15 they released Phantom, and since after Phantom, they have taken up over. Okay, so people started using more and more DJI. The Phantom has actually brought a lot of changes in the DJI drones, and that is how they started making a lot of drones. So in last I would say 5 to 10 years, DJI has done a very phenomenal job, and they have come to such a level that no other drone company can come near to them as of now, until unless you really do something similar to DJI.
Okay.
Okay, so schedule of servicing, you need to know airframe, propellers, motors, gimbal, landing gear, camera. So whenever you are changing this component, you should make sure that you maintain the record of this. Okay? So airframe is a major component. So in case of any damage happening to the airframe, you should remove, dismantle completely, and then put a new airframe. Okay. So if this is there supposed to be done, either you should do it or you should get it done from the technicians. Can do it, because there will be a lot of everything will get dismantled. If you're changing the airframe of a drone, that means it is completely getting dismantled. Okay. Servicing the propeller, a lot of time propellers get chipped and all the things. So make sure that you are changing the propeller with the right orientation. Clockwise है तो clockwise करो, counterclockwise है तो counterclockwise. If you do not understand, on the propeller itself there is a written. Okay, even propeller पे भी लिखा रहेगा, CW लिखा रहेगा या CCW लिखा रहेगा. Even by looking at the propeller also you can know whether it is a CW or CCW. Yes, Gautam.
Can you show the previous screen, please?
So in case of change in the airframe, you need to make sure that you are replacing, because you are completely changing the airframe means what? You are completely dismantling the drone. Okay, each and every component will come out, because the frame is the basic skeleton of the drone. So you are changing the frame, you have to dismantle the complete drone and you have to put it back again. So you should know, you should be trained for doing all this. If you are trained, then only you should do it. If you are not aware, you should always ask the engineer to come and do it for you. Right? You have any question, Gautam?
No, understood. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so I am saying about propeller again. You see the propeller. This part is your leading edge. Okay, this part is your leading edge. This is your trailing edge. So what is the type of this propeller? This propeller will move in this direction. What will be the type?
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise. Okay, so you understand the leading edge will always cut the air. Okay, so the motion of the propeller will be always like this. If it is opposite side, like assume this was a leading edge. Okay, assume I'm just making an example. Okay, this is the leading edge and this is the trailing edge. So the propeller will be moving in this direction. So that would be your clockwise propeller. Okay, so you should able to identify. Even your leading edge will be thicker. If you hold the propeller in your hand and you feel it, you use the thickness, and over if you see the thickness at this end, it will be thinner. So automatically you know this is a leading edge and this is a trailing edge. So this is what we talk about, that propeller is designed using Bernoulli principle. Okay, but when
And
it is
clockwise,
sorry,
clockwise, uh, clockwise rotation propeller is fitted on the left side, right?
clockwise fitted on your left side, yes,
And anti-clockwise on the right side.
right side. Okay, motor. I told you, like if you want to service the motor, you have to dismantle the motor, put the motor in the isopropyl alcohol for 24 hours. Then you have to remove it out, keep it for 6 hours for drying it. After that, again you wipe it clean and then fit it back. Okay, that's how you change the motors. Okay, so then again make sure that this disassemble the frame, disconnect the component wires, identify the faulty meter, make note which direction each motor is spinning, install the new motor with the correct orientation. Okay, so before removing the motor, you may have to disconnect and remove the propellers also. Okay, so everything gets disconnected and then you put back as it was earlier. Even when you have a lot of time gimbal gets faulty or you need to get changed or you need to get it serviced, so you have to remove the gimbal. So remove the gimbal, put it back. So when you put the back gimbal, don't simply fly the drone. First configure the gimbal, test it on the ground, all the motion, pan, tilt motion, all that things you should check on the ground, then only fly it. Lot of people just change the gimbal और फिर ऊपर जाने के बाद पता चलता है gimbal चल ही नहीं रहा है, because it is not calibrated or it is not been configured properly. Okay, so you need to do all the things when it is on ground. After the service, assemble the system, check for stabilization, check for pan and tilt movement, and video output. Okay, so you should check, do all this check after the servicing on the ground itself. Then only you should fly. नहीं तो आपका उतना flight time waste हो जाएगा. Okay, you will be wasting your flight. Landing gear, lot of time landing gear get faulty, damaged, broken, bended, all that things would happen. So in that scenario, you should always change the landing gear. You should not use faulty landing gear. So a lot of time people बोलते हैं कि ठीक है क्या होगा लैंडिंग ही करना है, बट देन इवन द स्लाइटेस्ट shape change in the landing gear, okay, it can cause a tilt in the drone when you are landing, because at the time of landing your propellers are in motion, तो कभी कभी आपका ड्रोन टॉपल भी हो सकता है, ओके, टिप ऑफ हो सकता है, so that can damage to your propellers or your arms also. So to avoid this thing you should make sure that your landing gears are perfectly fine, okay, especially in this kind of drones, okay, where the landing gear is retractable, okay, in this case you should make sure that they are functioning properly when it is going up, when it is coming back down, should come back properly smoothly. So a lot of time the oiling is also required, there is a special oil, machine oil is required to be put at the retracted motion also at the joints, okay, or even hydraulic landing gears are there, so you need to make sure that their hydraulic pumps are working properly inside, okay, they are like a small hydraulic suction which we normally use in kitchen trolleys or kitchen doors, right? You might have seen there a lot of in recent times in kitchen also the hydraulic arms are being used, okay? The similar types are being used in drone also. Okay, again, camera also. A lot of time we change the camera, replace the camera because of the dirt and all the things, or maybe new requirement. Like I might be having a camera with a 10x zoom, I want to use a 20x zoom. I may replace it, or I may be changing from a RGB camera to not normal RGB camera to thermal cameras or hyperspectral camera or multispectral camera or any different type of maybe a lidar I am going to connect. So whenever I am replacing these payloads, I have to make sure that they have been done properly. Okay, so whenever I'm connecting to the gimbal and all the things, make sure that they are being calibrated before flying. So calibrate the gimbal, yaw and roll in app. So you normally on the ground itself, in the app or whatever the control you are using for controlling the gimbal, you should check it on the ground before it flies. Okay, so with that we complete the topic called drone equipment maintenance. So this is only from a theory perspective. We'll talk more about it when we go to the store on day 3. Okay, practically whatever we have seen here, we will do it in practically over there. Okay, by seeing the components and all the things. Right?
Right,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Any questions?
No.
Sir,
No question.
Tell me.
is there any prescribed format to maintain this checklist data?
Depends upon drone to drone. From OEM, you will get the checklist. Okay, or you can give a checklist. You can make your own checklist also. It is again up to the pilot. I will be telling you what all things to be checked in a sequential order when we are doing practicals. Okay, what are the first things you have to check? What are things? So I will be sending you points also, and I will be giving you one exercise to do it. Okay, so as you're learning to fly the drone, your checklist and your flying activities you need to write on your own first, okay, so I will be giving you or telling you to write that exercise during our day 4, okay, when you have a day 4, complete your day 4 activities, end of the day I will tell you to write it, okay, and individually has to write it on it.
Okay, sir.
मैं बना बनाया आपको दे दूंगा, but that is not a, I mean it would be like a very generic kind of nature. You can always build upon it for your requirement as of it. But you should normally follow the checklist, what is good for you, what is required for you. आपको OEM भी अपना अपना सैंपल, आप ड्रोन खरीदोगे तो OEM का मैनुअल में चेकलिस्ट आता है लास्ट पेज पे. Okay, so they will give you like check the structure, like whatever I have showed you in the presentation, that is a form of a checklist only. It is a checklist का ही version है वो. Okay, so check the structural inspection, then check the batteries, check the motor, check the propellers, check the landing gear. All these things are in sequence. Okay, so these are things what we need to check. Okay, during the before the flight, there are options which you need to check on the GCS. So there are 4 parameters which every pilot should verify. So the co-pilot, let's say for example Nishant and Gautam are flying the drone together. So let's say Gautam is the pilot and Nishant is the co-pilot. So Nishant would be asking Gautam about 4 parameters. Okay, so those 4 parameters he should know, and Gautam has to respond back with those 4 parameters inputs. If they are proper and satisfied, then only he will, now Nishant will off the safety switch on the drone. Okay, then only Gautam will able to fly the drone from his remote control, and vice versa. So when Nishant is flying the drone, Gautam may be the co-pilot for him. So the Gautam would be asking those 4 parameters against to him. So when he is satisfied, then only he will off the safety switch on the drone and then Gautam will come next to Nishant. He will observe whether Nishant is doing things properly or not, whether he is following the sequence properly or not, or in case he is missed out, he will help Nishant to see that अच्छा ये तुमने देखा नहीं और this is what we missed out. So you as a team you are flying the drone, okay, and here you are helping each other to learn it more effectively. Rather, for example, अगर suppose imagine करो निशांत अकेला drone fly कर रहा है. I am an instructor. As an instructor, I will listen. I will see wherever it's required. I will tell you. But every time I will may not be able to give you instructions, or every time I may not be able to observe you. But being as a team, as a buddy, as a pilot and co-pilot, you are flying the drone as a team. Okay, so you will follow. Like, okay, when Nishant is flying, he's trying to make a right side square. So Gautam will help him. Okay, now next you have done pitch forward. Next maybe you have to do roll right. Okay, then go forward. So he may help him to. So that way teamwork you will fly properly. Okay. If in case Nishant said okay he was supposed to do roll right और ही उसने गलती से roll right left किया तो गौतम के अरे नहीं नहीं roll left नहीं करना था roll right करना था so that way interaction is happening you know I mean professional level you should normally do normally mistakes should not happen because you are be getting trained but here you are getting trained okay not in real scenario flying okay in real scenario you should fly as it is supposed to be done okay there is no option for mistakes but while training mistakes happens because you are doing first time so a lot of time when you are doing it for example Nishant is flying the drone he will say okay I am taking off the drone throttle up you know all this exercise what you are doing you have to call out as a pilot you must have seen in the movies or OTT series pilot whatever exercise or whatever activity they are doing they always speak out okay because it gets recorded in pilot okay that red
Black
box
box.
black box okay so it gets recorded into that as well as it is for documentation purposes also whether the pilot has followed the right procedures or not so similarly when you are doing flying your drone you have to follow the same procedure you say okay pitch forward so you do pitch forward then you say roll right then you do roll right okay then you say pitch forward so you do pitch forward then you say roll right then you do roll right you know like that you have to show so you have to call out your actions when you are going for a landing you should say that going for landing or going for touchdown and then only you should initiate your landing option okay in case there is something required then probably co-pilot might also help you nay, nay, do this or do that or let's do this or you missed out this option you know in between we may ask you to check the battery levels we may ask you to check the GPS levels you know all these parameters needs to be verified when you are flying the drone continuously okay so your co-pilot will also help you because every time you are as a pilot you are supposed to look at the drone you are not looking the GCS so GCS will be monitored by the co-pilot at that point in time when he is standing next to you when he is going he is near to the drone before flying the drone that time GCS is supposed to be monitored by the pilot and the co-pilot is supposed to ask the parameters how much is the battery level right now before the flight if it is below 50%, the co-pilot will say that we are not in a good position to fly the drone. So we may have to change the battery. Okay, so you may say, okay, my battery level is 90%. So then he will ask the next parameters. What is the GPS? What is the GPS count now? So you may have to tell the GPS count. If it is within the prescribed limit, good to fly. If it is not, then you may have to wait for some time until unless you reach to that level. Okay, battery, GPS. Then there are other settings. Then, for example, what is that? Mode of your flying. What mode you are flying? That all that parameters needs to be checked before flying it. Yeah, Gautam. Gautam, you have question?
No, by mistake. Sorry.
Okay, Nishant.
Sir, is it allowed to carry our drones in the passenger aircrafts while traveling?
So you can carry the drone not in passenger. I mean, passenger aircraft means you have to put it in luggage. You have to remove the battery and you have to carry it then in your this thing, handbag.
Okay, okay. And so, lastly, in the WhatsApp group, you had posted our screenshots for attendance day one, day two.
Mhm.
So I think day one में मेरा ये आया नहीं है because of some reason.
हाँ
Uh,
ठीक है that's
that is
okay.
okay, na?
That's okay. Your I mean name is there right?
Yes, yes. So the screen was like this, जैसे अभी गौतम जी का है ना, कपिल जी का है वैसा.
I know. That's okay. That's why I only said during the start of the day and end of the day, just on your camera. Rest of the time, you don't require to on your camera. If you require, you can keep it. You don't want, you don't want. Like, sometimes I am keeping, I am not keeping because कभी network का issue आता है तो I disconnect video so just to save the bandwidth. Okay, so let's quickly go to next topic. This is a small topic about emergency handling. Okay, so this topic we'll be talking in more detail during our flying exercises also. Okay, so this is basically about your drone. When you're flying the drone, there could be a possibility of any issues, right? As your drone is in air, it is always at issue, right? It can crash, it can hit somebody, or you can fly it wrongly, or all that possibilities are there, right? So you need to do what could go wrong, risk assessment.